Hello everyone, this is ACHAIA Akaya, and this is game number 2 in what appears to be a best of 5 series between WhiteRa and Cloud. I'm not sure if this was just something they did for fun or if this was a show match of some sort, but anyways, we saw game 1 between these two guys was played on Kulas Ravine, and WhiteRa was able to hang into that game for as long as humanly possible, just using some great Storm micro and really doing well with the Archons and the Zealots. He did have Zealot charge very early in that game, but just ultimately could not take out the Marauder Marine force with the help of the Medivac, and of course a couple of Ghosts in the mix there as well for EMP. But we are moving on to the second game between these two players, and this map is going to be Lost Temple, which is another 4-player map, and of course everybody's familiar with the layout. Even if you haven't played StarCraft 2, you are familiar with this general map layout because this map has been around forever in a lot of different Blizzard games. So anyways, Cloud is going to be spawning as the Blue Terran on the right side here, and on the left spawn we're going to see WhiteRa as the Red Protoss. And because this is a 4-player map, I don't expect to see any super cheesy strategies. As you can see, WhiteRa is putting his first gateway inside his base. Sorry about that, just grabbing some water there. My voice barely held up, if if you could even consider that holding up in the last game I cast. As I mentioned, I was a little bit sick last week, still recovering from that. I am going to attempt to cast at least one more game here. Hopefully my voice will hold up through it without going into any crazy coughing fits. But anyways, it looks like WhiteRa actually is hiding a pylon in the corner of his base, so possibly going to get some secret tech over there. Maybe some kind of a Templar rush or something along those lines. But anyways, it looks like Cloud is out scouting right now. He is going to scout the bottom position first, which means he will end up scouting WhiteRa's base next, and actually at the same time it looks like WhiteRa is making his base up into Cloud's base right now, going to see this first barracks and the early command center from Cloud. So he is going to be aware Cloud may be taking a fast expansion, or I've actually seen games where TLO builds this command center as part of his wall and changes it into an orbital command, using the extra energy from that orbital command for the additional mules and scouting potential that it offers, but not actually taking the expansion until later in the game. So we'll see if he opts to go take that expansion straight away once the command center is finished, or if he tries to use that as a basically part of his wall and using that scanning potential from the orbital command once he gets that up and running as well. But anyways, it looks like WhiteRa has not yet put any secret tech by this pylon in the corner of his base. He does have an expansion going up right now though, so we may indeed see this, once this has been turned into orbital command, we may see this move out here as an expansion rather quickly. And actually there is a bunker going down for Cloud by this expansion entrance, so that is exactly what I would expect him to do. Looks like he did have to move that SCV away because he was getting hit by that probe, but he is going to come out and try to scare that probe off. Obviously that probe is not scared though, apparently. There is another SCV coming back for Cloud right now, so he is going to help, in one Marine coming out too. It doesn't look like WhiteRa is going to be able to take out the SCV, although very narrowly escaping with only 10 hit points. But it looks like the orbital command is lifting off, going to move out to the expansion here, as you can see by the green wireframe that he has placed there. And the bunker finishing now will house the Marines that will defend this expansion initially. But looking at the hidden pylon, we do see a Twilight Council for WhiteRa, and of course Cloud is unaware of that as of yet. I'm sorry, I'm going to break once again for just a quick sip of water. I feel kind of like day 9 today. He's always breaking for some water to give him a break from talking, but I am trying to keep my voice up and running. Yikes, and we're back. That was a much needed water break. Anyways, it looks like WhiteRa is actually getting the Blink research upgrade at the Twilight Council, which he has hidden in the corner of his base. So going to have some pretty early Blink Stalkers here available to him. And it looks like Cloud has actually moved a lot of SCVs over to this expansion already, so saturating both mineral lines decently. He does need to get more SCVs at both of them though to fully take advantage of both of those bases. Meanwhile, it looks like WhiteRa has done the same, so he has got pretty good saturation at his expansion so far, and of course he is going to be macroing up some more probes there. And WhiteRa just now getting his second gateway, so a very late second gate from WhiteRa. That of course partially because, and actually here comes the third gate as well, and possibly a fourth. No, I guess not. But anyways, WhiteRa, of course, getting those gateways a little bit later because he did go for the fast expansion and then hiding tech, and it looks like there is the fourth gateway. So he is going to try to do a little bit of a later 4-gate timing push, possibly, it looks like, getting another pylon and possibly throwing up another pylon or two along the edge of his base here, just to scout out for Reapers or any kind of a drop tech that may be coming from Cloud. But it looks like Cloud is actually very heavy on barracks units right now. He is going to be having 3 barracks, and he's got 1 tech lab, 1 reactor, 2 reactors, so it looks like he is actually going to be going for a lot of Marines. But there are 2 factories as well with tech labs, so we may be seeing some very heavy meching from Cloud as well, possibly getting some Thors or siege tanks out in the mix with his infantry this time around, and I do not yet see a starport for him. So apparently not going to use a medevacs, at least not initially. So there are a few stalkers out for WhiteRa right now, so it looks like he is going to put some pressure on the front entrance of this expansion, and using that blink micro already, giving away that he does have that blink. And there are some SCVs that are going to have to come up and repair, and of course the true loss of having those SCVs up there repairing is not necessarily in the minerals and resources he invests in repairing it, but in the time that those SCVs lose in mining when they have to walk away from that mineral line to repair that bunker. But WhiteRa did manage to only lose a few hit points on one of his stalkers, and it looks like the rest of the stalkers only lost some of their shields, so he did not really take any serious damage in that push there. And there is another set of stalkers here, so he does have 8 stalkers now, trying to put some pressure on the front entrance here, although there are siege tanks coming up right now. He does not yet have siege tech researched, but as we can see, he is researching it. So we'll see here. Yeah, it looks like it's a little over halfway done there, so not researched as of yet. So stalkers are still pretty viable here, but as soon as that siege tech comes online, it is a little bit more difficult, especially if they cannot get onto this high ground to take on this army that's backed up by siege tanks. Now, of course, if he can get some kind of aerial unit such as an observer overhead, he can get vision on that cliff and possibly blink up there, getting him inside the siege tank range pretty quickly. But it looks like there are a lot of tanks going to be coming out here for Cloud. He's already got 4 right now, and I would imagine he's building some more. Yeah, we can see on the production menu he does have 2 more going right now, and he actually is getting an armory up, which he may just be getting that armory. Oh my goodness, and blinking up in here, he does have the observer overhead already, going to take out the reactor for one of his barracks, it looks like, and going to try to snipe a couple of these tanks possibly as well, getting 1 tank, and then he's going to blink right back out of that base. So very minimal loss for WhiteRa, and he was actually able to inflict a little bit of damage here, taking out 1 tank and 1 reactor from Cloud. So that is definitely going to slow Cloud's marine production down as he tries to build another reactor, since he lost